dash in your car and all your blinkers and shit are on.
The radio's all set to all different settings.
All right. Let's talk about asymmetric loading. Has something to do with the metric system. I don't know what.
It's asymmetric system.
Yes. All right. I think Phil covered all of this with you. So as a review, we have P factor. What is P factor?
Is the higher lift on the right, on the upward blade.
There we go. So P factor.
Or wait, down.
I think you have it backwards.
Down, downward.
Yeah.
Right side.
So P factor. Oopsie. So at straight and level flight, both blades have the same. Thank you. AOA is correct. But in a climb, the downward blade or the right side for us Yanks has a higher angle of attack than the other blade. I should write that. Than upward blade. So what does that do? This creates asymmetrical pole. Spelled right. ASYM. Hate you. So which way is the airplane going to go?
Right to the left. To the left.
Plane will
The other way.
yaw to the left. I didn't write it, but since we're here, what about gyroscopic precession?
90 degrees out.
Does that happen in an airplane?
It does.
Yeah. So Phil covered that?
Yes.
Yep.
He's like, yes, don't say it again.
Yeah.
All right.
We don't know. Don't ask about it. I don't know.
Okay. Then I'll just leave it be.
We're fine. We got it.
So my funny P factor gyroscopic precession story is that I had a customer with a where does gyroscopic precession get airplanes the most? Which ones? Which airplanes have the?
Oh, single engines?
You're right about that, but I was thinking about something else.
Tail wheel?
Tail wheel, right? Because you have a tail wheel, so you're sitting like this, and so when you lift up the tail, it goes that way, right? I didn't make it go that way.
Right, that is true.
Yeah.
As soon as I stuck it in, because it's like, whoa.
It's off to the races. So yeah, I'm not gonna, I'm just gonna lift up on this end and try and straighten it out. Ready? So, you can see I'm just holding it right there. It's going that way because I'm trying to push this down. So, in a tail-wheeled airplane, when you take off and you bring the tail up, it goes hard left. Well, so I had a friend who had a Piper Pacer, which is a tail-wheeled airplane, and he had a buddy who flew in the war, the RAF. Asked if he wanted to fly his airplane. Well, what's the difference between our planes and airplanes? They go the other way around. So poor guy's thinking, all right, I got this. An RAF pilot. When I lift up that tail, it's going to go left. It's going to go right. So he's ready. And he hit hard left. So his plane wanted to go this way, but no, my buddy's plane went this way. So he was ready, and he hit hard left pedal as it came up, and they went off into the mud. Out of Davis, I think. Yeah, it was Davis. Went off into the mud. Huh?
When did this happen?
Oh, I don't know. 20, 30 years ago. Stuck the wheels in the mud, and the tail came over, boom, went upside down. Oh, yeah.
No, it did a whole flip, dude.
And then kept going.
All right, I shouldn't have to cover this, and I'll tell you why. Oh, I won't, okay. Propeller clearances. This is FAR 23.925. Go ahead, look it up. It doesn't exist. They pulled it. But yet, it's still in your Q&As.
Oh, that's nice.
So,
So they don't give a shit, so you can have a prop an inch off the ground now?
apparently,
Now you know what to do.
there's this, I'm not sure, I'm,
Land your airplane.
it doesn't make, some stuff doesn't make sense. Oh, I threw this in there just for fun. The Hartzell Q-tip props, they have like little winglets on them. Can you see that?
Oh, yeah.
So if you see, if all of the blades look like that and there's no scraping on it, then they're Q-tips. It's not a prop strike. But if all the blades look like that, or some of them look like that, and there's scrapes on the end, that was a prop strike. Okay, so prop clearances. So let me see. I'll write this down. You have to have proper clearance, and for a long time it was governed under Part 23, and now it's not. I believe what they're doing, they're going to what's called consensus standards. And so at one point, the FAA was like, you will do this. And now they've gone away from that, and they're saying to the manufacturers, go ahead and make your planes, and as long as it makes sense in what you're doing, like the door won't fall off or the cowling won't explode, then we'll be fine. See, I'm making Boeing jokes right there. But you know. So, but I think it's still in your Q&As, and you're supposed to know this stuff. So tricycle gear. So tricycle gear, actually, back up. What is a conventional gear? Is this conventional gear or is this conventional gear?
I don't know.
Lots of conventional.
Conventional is a tail wheel. Yes. So if you have a tricycle gear, minimum of 7 inches. Minimum of, I'll write this down. Minimum of 7 inches between tip and ground. That is at the, now you got to think about it. We have struts. You got people in there, fat people, thin people, fuel loads. So it's at taxi takeoff position with gear statically deflected, which means a load on it. Static deflection is simply the amount that a spring compresses under the weight of the equipment. Only a positive clearance is required with a strut deflated and critical tire blown. What is critical tire blown? It's whichever tire is going to be the worst case scenario. So if this nose wheel blows and the strut deflates, as long as it doesn't hit the ground, it's okay.
So with all the mechanical linkage,
Yeah, depressed. Okay. Tail wheel, also known as conventional. That is not the next note. Minimum of 9 inches at taxi takeoff position with the gear deflected, whichever is least. So that's takeoff position was with the nose up, so the tail up, nose is going to come down. That's going to decrease your clearance. So right there, 9 inches. Seaplane, 18 inches between tips and the water. How come more here than there?
Because there's waves.
There's waves.
yeah, the sea line's probably.
Little sea otters, skulls are hell on these things. Structural clearances. Let's see.
Yeah, half an inch.
Dang.
Wow. It's half a foot. But
Here we go. My notes go this way. 1 inch radially between tips and airplane structure. So one
So
inch.
your fucking leg is this goddamn close to the edge of it, and the prop is that gone.
Yeah, I don't like sitting like that. Let's see. Half an inch longitude between blades or cuffs and stationary parts of the plane. And just positive clearance between other rotating parts of the proper spinner. So that I think that'd be in here maybe. Positive clearance between cowling and spinner. Yeah, cowling, spinner, stuff like that.
Yeah, you mentioned cuffs too. How much do those add to the thickness of the blade?
However much they add.
However thick they are.
Yeah, I think they are. So prop clearances, let's see. 10, let me see. Got tricycle. Tricycle gear. We have minimum of 7 inches. Tip to ground. That is at taxi / takeoff with gear. I don't think I need to write all this. I'll finish the sentence. STATICAL, statically deflected. There we go. Tail wheel. How much was that? 9 inches is correct. At taxi takeoff, we had, let me see, what was next? Seaplane.
What is statically deflected again?
Weight on the, so even spring gear, see how gear with struts that'll go up and down? So when you're out of the airplane, like the strut will extend because everybody got out, but when you get in, it kind of sags. So that means sag with the normal weight. Spring gear will actually kind of move its way out like that. A, B, C, oh, that's why. Seaplane was 18 inches. Tips to water. Structural. It's had 1 inch tip to, let me see. What do I want to say? Tip to, yeah. Fuselage and 1/2 inch blade to parts. That's literally what my notes say, parts of the airplane. And positive, just positive clearance. Prop to cowling. Spinner.
Anything positive?
Etc. Yep, just, I mean, it is right there. All right, types of prop configurations. All right, got our clearance. Let's see, next. All right, this is an air tractor representing a tractor configuration. So this kind of configuration with the propeller out front and engine out front pulling it along is called a tractor configuration. Prop mounted on the front, prop pulling. Then we've got the pusher. What kind of plane is that?
Jet ski.
It's an Icon. They just went bankrupt.
Really?
Yeah, yeah, like a week or two ago. Yeah. I should have put a, I think I had a CB in here. Do I have a CB in here? I do have a CB in here. Check out that end number. This is what you get when you take a VW bus and mount it on something. So.
Or a frog in an airplane have a baby. Turns into a tadpole with wings.
There you go. So
One day it'll be a 737.
This is what your friends have?
Yeah.
Yeah. So CB.
It's got a Franklin.
Franklin?
Yeah.
So that's a pusher type propeller. On airplanes that are amphibious like this, amphibious means that the wheels go up and or you can land on the pavement. But they belong on the water. The props have to be raised up more because the water spray actually damages the prop pretty hard. So we've got the tractor type. We have the pusher type. Now the thing about the pusher type is you guys built a Lycoming engine. Does that look like it was set up to be a pusher type? Because your thrust bearing on the crankshaft as a tractor was a very thick piece of metal. And then if it's a pusher type, it's going to be a very thin little slinger ring in there is what it's riding against. So consider that, yeah.
So would the face be on the outside of the
I know, it's kind of a trippy thing to think about, but think about taking the propeller like it's in front of us, right? So that's going to look like normal. We'll see the face, okay? Then he's my pilot. Now it's just back here. But it's weird to walk up to a plane and it's backwards on the engine, is what it is. But you still have the face going the same way. Then we got the push me, pull you, or pull you, push me. I don't know which way they say it.
Those are so cool.
They kind of are, but they kind of aren't.
Skymaster.
I know. I used to love Skymasters, but they're such a pain to work on, and I hate those engines. They got those IO360s, which I don't love. Okay, so we had pusher and both push-pull. So that's your basic. I can't think of any others unless you want to start talking about the ones the Marines use, but that doesn't count, I don't think. What are those the Marines use? The Ospreys? The,
Oh,
yeah.
The tilt rotors.
yeah.
The lifting guy.
Oh yeah. The ground is
They don't have the best track record.
We have the tractor type. We have the pusher type. And we had the push-pull.
The tractor push.
Push-pull. So that's your propeller configurations. Now we can talk about all the different types of props. Types of props. Let me see, what kind of picture do I have here? We have the fixed pitch. Can you change the pitch on that? Yes, you with
Repair station can.
with a. I've seen it done. It's quite the thing to look at. So we got the fixed pitch. We've got the ground adjustable. You can change it in the air if you try hard enough. So ground adjustable. You might recognize that one.
Yeah.
Malik sure does. He's the only one to work on it so far this year, I think. So ground adjustable. You have bolts that come undone and the blades rotate rather easily. And then you lock in the hub, and we'll talk about those later. So fixed pitch, ground adjustable. Here's another ground adjustable. It's an Ivo prop. Very interesting story about Ivo props. Was made by a guy who defected Russia. He created this prop, and I think he defected and took the. But it's ground adjustable, and I took it apart to kind of show you how it works. You have this very large. Yeah, we're going to do that more today. That is just too much fun for everybody.
Is that the dude that made the gyrocopter thing?
I don't know. I think it was. Yeah. Yeah.
Or the auto gyro.
So you got that big old nut in there, and then that you turn this, and that turns this little piece right here. You can see it this way, which then just twists these rods, and when those rods go in there, you can hear it. It sounds like you're cracking it. Just twist it. And I had a friend who had an Ivo prop on his plane. Like, yeah, put a little more pitch in it, and it just sounds like you're just tearing it to pieces. But it's ground adjustable. Thing that's cool about this one, look at these spacers right here. You can take this blade off, move it over one bolt hole. This piece matches that piece by one more blade, and you have 3 blade. And they got the weight and stuff right there. So you just called Ivo prop, and you say, oh, I need a 15.3, 13.9, whatever. And they're like, oh, yeah, we'll send it to you. And it's balanced and everything. Yeah. They're carbon fiber.
So in regards to that, like, let's say you have an issue with one blade on your prop, can you switch it out, or do they have to all be together like that?
Yeah. So you're flying along, got your 3-blade prop, and you actually nick one of the blades. The other 2 are fine. Just take out the one that's bad, throw it away, make it 2-blade into 3 into 2, and go flying some more. Another type of ground adjustable. So ground adjustable is just going to have a hub that clamps it in place. That's a warp drive. See, right there, warp drive props. I have not worked on a warp drive, but I believe that's what you find on Rotax. All right, then we have a
Constant speed.
2-position Hamilton standard propeller. This is only a 2-position prop.
The 30.
High gear, low gear. No in-betweens. It's gorgeous, huh? By the way, see how the prop is all polished?
Yep.
I believe that Hamilton Standard is the only propeller that can be polished. Any other propeller that's polished, there was a few years back where the FAA was really cracking down on that because it violates the repair manual for the props, because they all end with "and paint." We have the 2-position. This is a adjustable propeller. It is not constant speed, it's adjustable. So while you're flying along, and we'll get into this, this one has a little motor, and you have a little toggle switch, you just toggle it, and it runs a motor, and it'll just put in more pitch or less pitch. It's just, once it's there, it's there.
That's what I was talking about.
Yeah.
So adjustable. This makes me mad every time I seen it. We used to have one of these props. Somebody just walked away with it one day. This is a Compers Aeromatic, so it's fully adjustable. It's automatically adjustable. And again, we'll talk more about it, but it senses air load and engine RPM and adjusts it all by itself without any oil pressure or anything, no governors. It just does its little thing, and they're really weird. Then we'll get into the constant speed propellers with governors. So we have constant speed. Then after constant speed, you start adding things. You can go full feather propellers. And test clubs. And wooden props, which I think is where we'll pick that up when we get back to looking at slides. There we go. Types of props. Let me see. We had the fixed pitch. That is a rigid prop. Rigid's a relative term. The blades are not adjustable, per se. So when you look at a type certificate data sheet for something, let's see. Why not? Here's a type certificate data sheet for a Cessna 150. It's just a page out of the book or out of the thing. These are the propellers that you can have on here. So I'm looking at this 150. It says, number one, I have to have a Continental 0200. And by the way, this is for the 150 A, B, and C models. This whole type certificate is going to cover all these models here, 150 all the way through the 152 and the Aerobat 152. But anyway, this particular section of it is only covering right now the 150, the first one, the A, B, and the C. So those airplanes right there are required to have a Continental 0200A that has that fuel grade. And for all operations, 2750, that is the max RPM. That is where you see the red line. So you cannot go past that. And they say, oh, you may have 3 different propellers on this or more, depending on what the next page says, which I don't have. You could have a Sensnich, or some people say Sensnik,
Yeah, so it's like
like CH, like church, Sensnik. 69 CK, that's the hub style is CK, so it'll be 69 is diameter. So diameter, not over 69 and not under 67.2. So how would I get to 67.5, I mean?
Shaving the
You got a little bit of damage on it, they cut it off. So you can keep doing that until you get to 67.5, you're done. Static RPM at maximum permissible throttle setting is not over 2470 and not under 2320. So when I'm doing an annual inspection on this, I'm going to run it up, and it better be more than 2320, and it better be less than at or below, I should say. All right, so you can have that one. Well, why this huge variation? 2320.
Not everything's the same.
You can have it pitched. See, they're not telling you what the pitch is. You can have any pitch you want, as long as it's within those 2 RPM ranges.
What about if you were at different altitudes?
That's what I was going to say. So I live up in the foothills, up in the mountains. What is my big concern?
It's less air.
There's less depth.
That is less dense. I need more power. I need to take off. How am I going to get more power?
Spinning faster.
Spin it faster. How am I going to spin it faster?
Less pitch.
Flatten it out. So I'm going to have what they call a climb prop. So a climb prop is going to get me closer to 2470. Well, I don't live up in the foothills. I live down here, and I keep my airplane at McClellan with a 10,000-foot runway in my Cessna 150. So do I want a climb prop, or do I want to go fast?
Go fast.
I want to go fast, so I'm going to have it pitched more to 2320. Or maybe you're just like, well, I just kind of want it in the middle. I'm fine. Well, you get one in the middle. They usually come in like 3 different, flavors right there. So I did have a customer one time who, I don't remember which way we went, but they wanted it repitched. And so I was lucky enough, I didn't realize how lucky I was, that the boss said, hey, take the prop down to this prop shop in Stockton and have them repitch it. And it was the most interesting thing I ever seen. I could not do this. I'm not artistic. I'm more analytical. This guy was an artist. And so, he's got his cigarette. Got a cigarette in the story. And so he's got this giant machine like the size of my desk. And it's got these jaws. And he had a garbage can next to it just full of wood. And so he takes his fixed pitch prop and his cigarette, right? And he's got, and he just takes some wood and he puts it in these jaws. And he sticks this prop in there and just pulls this hydraulic handle, crunches all the wood and comes down and grabs this and grabs the hub, and the whole machine kind of twists. And he's just got this big handle, like it comes off the floor. It's like that long, like this long. He just kind of pulls it. He's kind of got the cigarette. That looks about right. I'm serious. And then he undoes it and he takes it over to prop bench. He puts a little protractor on it. Yeah, it's just going to need another half degree on there. And he brings it back in, does the same thing, just pulls it. Yeah, that looks pretty good. And he does it to the other side, prop checks, and goes, you're good. And he just repitched the whole thing, like right there. I'm like,
perfect.
Damn, man.
Like all in the span of like just a couple minutes?
Yeah.
Does the prop shop have to balance it too, or can you do that?
You can balance it as an AMP. I don't want to. You need a blade thing, and you have to, and it takes patience. And that's static balance. Dynamic balance we do more often. So anyway, yeah. So you can that's my story. You can repitch a fixed pitch prop if you so desire, and it's allowable. Fixed pitch. It's rigid, but I'm going to say blades do not adjust. I mean, they can if you have 2 things. You need 2 things to do that. 3 things to do that.
Cigarette is one of them.
You need a cigarette. You're right.
Lever?
The machine with the lever and
A prop bench.
Blocks of wood.
Artistic view?
blocks of wood. Repair station.
Yep.
Yeah.
A hair station.
Repair station. Blades do not adjust. Asterisk. You can't do it in the field. So. Then we have ground adjustable. So blades can be adjusted. Blades can be adjusted on the ground. Had a customer with a Stearman. Those are big biplanes. Boeing makes them. Familiar with the Stearmans? Oh, it's very sad.
Wing walkers.
Yeah, wing walkers and such.
Yeah, show us.
You guys are just missing out on an American.
Their big radials are fucking huge. It's like,
Oh.
even out there.
There you go. Yeah, that's a perspective of how big they are. But yeah, pretty planes. I built many of these and the engines that went in them. They're reasonably large. So anyway, I had a customer. These are World War II. They're I forget the PT designation, like PT 17, PT 19. They're primary trainers for World War II. And so there was some sort of flight where they were taking all these airplanes across the country and meeting up and doing a fly around the Statue of Liberty or something like that. And so our customer had to take his plane across the country, and these all have ground adjustable planes or props, unless they've been modified. But they came standard with a ground adjustable. So what did he want me to do to his prop?
Adjustments.
Adjust it for more pitch or less pitch?
What was,
missed the
Cross
Yeah, what
country,
was you asking?
It's going from here to New York.
Oh, he wants cruise prop.
You want cruise prop? Yep. So put more pitch. Yep. Put more pitch into it. Yeah.
Oh, there's your answer to PT-17.
There you go. Actually, yes and no. The PT-17 I think had the Continental, and there's another PT designation that had the Lycoming. So it got kind of weird. All right. So blades can be adjusted on the ground with proper tools. We have the two-position prop. Two-position prop. So that allows prop to be in either low angle for what?
For
Climb, take off, or climb. We have high angle for cruise. And we've got A, B, C, D, the controllable. Technically speaking, this two-position prop, it's pilot controlled. We'll get into it. Pilot's got a lever, high, low. Controllable pitch. That is, a pilot can control the pitch. Of the blades. So I have a constant speed prop on my plane. Can I control the pitch of the blades? Technically, no. I can control the RPM. The governor and the prop are going to change pitch on their own to meet the RPM that I selected. So I can't really control the pitch. With a controllable pitch prop, I am literally setting the pitch of the prop. And then the RPM will do what it's going to do based upon the pitch that I set. So if I set a certain pitch and then I pull back to climb, what's the RPM going to do? It's going to drop. If I head towards the ground, the RPM is going to rise up. With a constant speed, if I set it for 2100 RPM and I pull back on it, start to climb, what's my RPM going to do? It's going to stay at 2100. I aim at the ground within reason. It's going to 2100. Same with pulling up within reason. There are stops. So, but a controllable pitch. So, this one I just showed you is a beach roby. It's a beach roby. Yeah, it's a beach roby. The one before that, this two position, was a Hamilton Standard. It was named after our president. Hamilton invented it. I don't think those years coincide very well. We have the automatic pitch. See the pitch of the blades, the pitch of the blades is fully automatic, fully automatic based on aerodynamic forces. And that prop was the Kompers. I don't have that written. Kompers, Kompers. I may be off on that. Kompers Aeromatic.
That's got to be an intricate system.
We'll get into it.
With you talking about centrifugal and aerodynamic forces, that's got to overcome a lot of crap.
Then we got the constant speed prop. That uses a hydraulic governor. To automatically control blade angle like that, and then I'll start this sentence here. Pilot sets the RPM, and blade angle changes to hold the RPM.
What's the throw of the blade angle, like completely? Like,
It's really not that much. It's
I usually
surprisingly.
change a couple degrees, but like, what's like the total?
It's like that much. You'll see the like that much in like mine. Yeah, something like that. It's very little. It's shocking how little it is. We have some mock-ups where you'll be able to kind of move them, and you're like, wow, that's not much. I can't really see when it's spinning. It's hard to tell.
It's closer to
Kevin, with some of these props, are some of them have they been phased out, so now there's only like.
Yeah. Well, there's compers. Their website's still there. They lost their type certificate, but you can buy them for experimental. Nobody's got a controllable beach anymore. The electric props, they got rid of them. They all went to constant speed. 2-position, yeah.
I think they're still on. I saw an electric trim on a Devon Air a couple years back.
Out of Debbie, wow.
Yeah.
Most people have switched them, but yeah, they were on Beechcrafts. And some people, yeah, still have them probably. Mostly phased out.
It was actually the one owned by that flight school down to Hobby, or not Hobby, down south.
Yeah. Ground adjustable. Oh yeah, there's still plenty of them out there. I mean, that's, yeah, definitely. So what are some of the options we get into with the constant speed? We have the feathering, which you know what that means, right? Feathering. Feathering, same as a constant speed, but prop can be feathered. Feathering. It's just a constant speed that has more range to it. We'll get into that. Feathering, and some of these are reversing. So the thrust goes backwards so that you can back up in the air. Like you're flying along and see something, whoa, check that out. You like back up a little bit, damn, and then you just kind of.
Isn't that component in turboprops?
Huh?
Turboprops generally have the reversing.
Yes. Yes, they do. But you can also get them in pistons. I had a customer who had a Baron who had one. Then we have, let's see, let's put this out here. What number am I at? A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And test clubs. First rule of test clubs is test clubs.
You don't know? Can't tell you.
A short prop that directs cooling air. Which joke?
They're not talking about.
Cooling air
I'm not in this.
Yeah, we can tell.
Yeah.
along the engine. Designed to absorb max engine horsepower. These test clubs are hard to find. So I had one built one time by, I don't remember who built it for me, some propeller place. It might have been Sentinich. And so we finished this engine, and I sent it up to executive, and they installed it at our executive shop, and I sent my other engine builder up there to go test run it, and he called me up, oh my gosh, Kevin, this engine runs so rough. He goes, I can't even stand it. I'm like, wow, man, it's a nice 6-cylinder. So, you know, troubleshoot. I'm like, I'll be up there in a little bit. So I drive up there, and I'm like, all right, let's check it out. Start it up. It just shook. I'm like, damn, what the hell we do to this thing? And, you know, troubleshoot. I'm like, let's measure the prop. The hub was off by like a half an inch.
Oh, wow.
Like, well, there's your problem.
How did that?
Huh?
Like how? What do you mean it was off?
They just made it. They made the, like, it's like one blade was like a half inch long. So it was like all off center. So it, you know, it shook the engine as it went around. I'm like,
Yeah,
well,
this helps counteract the P factor.
yeah, it did.
Yeah, right. The one side of the blade is more thrust, so make that the shorter one.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it matches up with the other one.
It was like the prop was symmetrical, but where they drilled the prop bolts was just off. I know.
Who was they?
Whoever built
How does
it.
that be, dude?
The prop shop. That's scary.
All right, fixed pitch props. We're gonna just look at those in detail.
Oh,
I have a little. First thing is a short video on props, which is kind of cool, but I don't think we have time for it. Especially if I keep doing that. See how long it is. 3 minutes. Wait. I have to stop the video or I'll get in trouble.